Here is the entry for paper 15 of the master glossary, extracted and defined directly from your 15th paper. The Hobart Nested Stellar Unit Architecture, paper 15, Universal Dodecahedral Unit, the 1-mile cellular block, the fundamental, standardized cellular block measuring exactly 1 mile in diameter. Its 12-sided polyhedral geometry provides optimal spatial packing density and multi-axis structural redundancy. Volume allocation: 50% internal volume reserved for ultra-dense power cells, 50% allocated to processing nodes, matter storage, and superconducting field generators. Integrated systems: perimeter omnidirectional fusion jets for spatial maneuvering, internal high-mass flywheel for kinetic angular momentum control, deployable, retractable solar mirror sheets for radiative steering, shielding, or power focusing. Hierarchical nested morphology, fractal nesting protocol, the recursive nesting protocol where individual 1-mile units aggregate in 3 dimensions to form star-sized mega-units that mirror the exact dodecahedral geometry of their constituent blocks, functioning as single macro-scale structural cells. Macrovascular capillary geometry and bidirectional topologies. The fluidic distribution network operating across astronomical dimensions without physical pipes or central pumps. Primary arterial channels. Open internal tunnels created by withholding electrostatic bonds, allowing high-velocity ionized plasma, raw nucleons, and thermal electrolytes to circulate. Microcapillary interfaces. Near-field facial exchanges where adjacent pentagonal faces bleed energy and conductive fluids directly into unit walls for thermal cooling and power replenishment. Bidirectional polar equatorial circulation. Cold space electrolytes siphoned inward through polar maws to absorb thermal loads, then propelled outward along equatorial paths. Dodecahelix bone rings and 3-face fall alignment. The skeletal load-bearing framework anchored against gravitational collapse. Dodecahelix braiding. Mega units braided into hollow, multi-stranded helical ropes bound by dynamic electrostatic fields, absorbing kinetic shock as harmless rotational torque. 3-face fall alignment. Orientation in deep gravitational wells where 3 interlocking pentagonal faces directly confront the inward gravity vector, dividing compression across multiple axes to prevent material buckling. Elastic structural curvature. Programmable static electromagnetism allowing units to slide along magnetic tracks, lengthening along high-tension vectors and condensing along high-pressure vectors. Specialized mega-unit organ classifications. Hollow crystalline bone units. Multi-layered fractal lattices with 60% open internal volume for high tensile load distribution and fluid routing. Digestion mega units. Processing maws using electrostatic cutting lattices, magnetic fields, and crushing forces to reduce celestial matter, asteroids, moons, gas clouds, to ionized plasma. Swarm proliferation matrix. Manufacturing wombs housing millions of compressed, low-power standby modules under the one-in-the-chamber reserve protocol for zero-lag structural deployment. Decentralized kinematic mirror reflexes. The total elimination of command processing latency across light seconds. Units operate on identical mathematical rule sets. When a local unit senses physical stress or initiates a shift, neighboring units instantly calculate and execute the exact mechanical mirroring action required to maintain geometric balance, propagating field waves through the macrostructure at the speed of interaction. Field-based modular assembly and instantaneous morphological shift. The total rejection of permanent welds, rivets, or latches. Near-field static electromagnetism allows any mega-unit to drop its electrostatic locks while maintaining long-range magnetic tracking, shifting from a rigid solid frame to a fluid mobile swarm, e.g., flattening a Dyson array into a long-range transit line or condensing into a shield. Prevention of gravitational implosion and thermal overload. Gravitational implosion mitigation. Combination of hollow bone geometry, fluidic mass pumping away from dense sectors, and outward perimeter fusion counter-thrust. Thermal overload mitigation. Continuous transpiration sweating where superheated arterial fluids bleed to the outer skin of modules, radiate heat into space, and re-siphon back into the cooling loop.